Welcome to Dogs Info Me. As you settle into your comfortable position, letting the weight of the day begin to dissolve, prepare to embark on a quiet journey. It is a wonderful thought that as this story begins, you are listening from your own quiet corner of the world. I would love for you to leave a comment telling me where you are listening from and what time it is in your part of the night. And if you enjoy this gentle journey, please consider subscribing so you will be notified when future stories are ready to help you unwind. Our story tonight is a narrative woven together from 100 distinct threads of history, science, and heart. All dedicated to one of our oldest and most beloved companions, the dog. Let the sounds around you fade into a distant murmur. There is nothing to do now but listen, to breathe, and to drift. Our story does not begin in a time of cities or books, but in the deep, quiet past, long before the first human voice ever spoke a name for their faithful four-legged friend. Our story begins in a world unrecognizable to us. A world that existed some 40 million years ago, long before the first glimmer of human consciousness. In the dense, humid forests of the Eocene epoch, a small, unassuming creature skewered through the undergrowth. This animal known to science as Myakes was not a dog, not yet. But it carried within its DNA the very blueprint of all future canids. Roughly the size of a weasel with a long body and a slender tail, Myakes was a carnivore, an agile hunter that likely lived in trees, preying on smaller animals. From this humble ancient progenitor, a magnificent evolutionary journey began, branching out over millions of years to produce the bears, the raccoons, and most consequentially for humanity, the wolves from which our faithful companions would eventually emerge. This deep primordial connection anchors the dog not just to our homes, but to the very fabric of the wild ancient world. As millennia passed, this lineage of hunters drew closer to the flickering campfires of early humans, beginning a partnership that would reshape both species. Nowhere was this bond more profoundly illustrated than in the sun-scorched civilization of ancient Egypt. The Egyptians, whose society was built along the fertile banks of the Nile, did not merely keep dogs as pets or guards. They saw them as sacred beings, earthly conduits to the divine. The jackal-headed god Anubis, who presided over embalming and the afterlife, was one of their most important deities. And this reverence extended to his living relatives. Dogs were companions in life and guardians in death, often mummified and buried with their owners to accompany them into the next world. The depth of this emotional connection was starkly demonstrated in their mourning rituals. When a cherished family dog passed away, the entire household would enter a period of deep sorrow, a grief they expressed outwardly by shaving their eyebrows. It was a visible public declaration of loss, a testament to the animal's place as a true member of the family. A practice that highlights an ancient understanding of the profound relationship we share with these creatures. This deep-seated need to care for our ancient companions has persisted through the ages. Though our understanding of their needs has evolved dramatically, we now know that some of the very foods we enjoy can be perilous to them. A bowl of grapes or raisins, seemingly harmless fruits, can induce sudden kidney failure. The rich, sweet allure of chocolate, a delight for humans, contains a substance called theobromine, a bitter alkaloid that dogs cannot metabolize effectively, leading to poisoning that can be fatal. Even the core of an apple or a pear, a part we casually discard, holds a hidden danger. The tiny seeds within contain amygdalin, a compound that when chewed or digested can release cyanide. While it would take a significant quantity of seeds to cause serious harm, the potential for toxicity underscores the delicate biological differences between our species. This responsibility of care extends to understanding their unique physiology. For instance, on a hot day, as beads of sweat form on our skin, a dog remains dry. This is because their primary cooling mechanism is not through their skin, but through their paws. They perspire mainly through the pads on their feet, leaving damp footprints on a cool floor. This combined with panting, which allows for evaporative cooling from the tongue and respiratory tract, is how they regulate a body temperature that typically hovers around 38.6 degrees 6 degrees Celsius or 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit. Their physical prowess is equally distinct. The secret to a dog's incredible speed and agility lies in its unique skeletal structure. Unlike humans, a dog's shoulder blades are not attached to the main skeleton by a collarbone. This floating arrangement connected only by muscle gives them a tremendous range of motion and allows their stride to lengthen dramatically when they run, turning them into models of locomotive efficiency. This anatomical feature is a direct inheritance from their predatory ancestors for whom speed and flexibility meant the difference between a successful hunt and starvation. Our long history together has also woven dogs into the very fabric of our language and culture, sometimes in the most curious of ways. Consider the common idiom for a torrential downpour. It's raining cats and dogs. The phrase conjures a bizarre, almost surreal image, yet its origins are grimly practical, stemming from the urban realities of 17th century England. In cities like London, sanitation was rudimentary at best. Streets were little more than open drains choked with refuse and filth. Stray animals, including countless cats and dogs, often perished in the alleyways. Their bodies left where they lay. When a powerful storm hit, the ensuing floodwaters would sweep through the streets, carrying the bodies of these unfortunate creatures along in the current, creating the macabre illusion that they had fallen from the sky with the rain. This historical snapshot of urban life stands in stark contrast to the role of some dogs during the Middle Ages, where certain breeds were elevated to the status of warriors. Great Danes and Mastiffs, formidable in their size and strength, were not just symbols of power for the nobility, but active participants in warfare. These powerful dogs were outfitted in their own custom-made armor, often constructed from boiled leather or plates of steel designed to protect them from arrows and sword strikes. Sent into the thick of battle, they were trained to break enemy lines, pull down knights from their horses, and attack with a ferocity that could turn the tide of a skirmish. This martial history is a far cry from the gentle companion resting at our feet today. Yet, it is a vital part of their story. The physical traits of these breeds bred for strength and intimidation bring us to a fascinating aspect of canine biology: the link between a dog's facial structure and its longevity. Breeds with long elongated muzzles reminiscent of their wolf ancestors such as greyhounds or borzoi tend to have longer lifespans than their flat-faced or brachycephalic counterparts like pugs and bulldogs. The compressed facial structure of these latter breeds can lead to a host of health problems, particularly respiratory issues, which can ultimately shorten their lives. It is a modern irony that in breeding for specific aesthetic qualities, we have sometimes compromised the very health and longevity we cherish in our companions. Yet, despite these challenges, the potential for a long and healthy canine life is truly remarkable. The ultimate testament to this is the story of Bluey, an Australian cattle dog from Victoria, Australia. Born in 1910, Bluey worked with cattle and sheep for nearly 20 years before retiring. He lived a long and active life, finally being laid to rest in 1939. His age was an incredible 29 years and 5 months, making him the oldest dog ever officially recorded. Blue's exceptional lifespan, more than double that of the average dog, remains a monument to the resilience and enduring spirit of Canis lupus familiaris. While a long life like Bluey's is a marvel of resilience, the quality of that life is defined by how a dog perceives the world, and to understand that perception is to enter a sensory landscape vastly different from our own. It is a world painted not in vibrant colors, but in an infinite spectrum of sense. A dog's sense of smell is its primary faculty, a tool of such astonishing power that it dwarfs our own feeble abilities. Where we might detect a spoonful of sugar in our coffee, a dog could detect that same spoonful in 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools. A volume of water exceeding 2.5 million L, or more than 660,000 US gallons. This olfactory acuity is estimated to be at least 1,000 times more sensitive than a human's. And for some breeds like the bloodhound, that number can soar to be many millions of times greater. This superpower stems from a sophisticated internal architecture. A dog's nose contains up to 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our mere 6 million. Furthermore, the part of their brain dedicated to analyzing these scents is proportionally about 40 times larger than ours. They possess a special organ we lack entirely: the vomesil organ located in the roof of their mouth, which is dedicated to detecting pheromones, the chemical signals that convey a wealth of social information about other animals. For a dog, a simple walk around the block is like reading the morning newspaper. A rich tapestry of stories left by every creature that has passed by. In stark contrast to this universe of scent, a dog's world of taste is far more limited. While the human tongue is covered in approximately 9,000 taste buds, allowing us to discern the subtle complexities of flavor, a dog's tongue has only about 1,700. This means their sense of taste is significantly less refined than ours. Evolutionarily, this makes perfect sense. As scavengers and opportunistic hunters, their ancestors needed to gulp down food quickly without being overly selective. The primary determinant of whether something was good to eat was its smell, not its taste. The scent of meat, of decay, of life, told them everything they needed to know, long before the food ever touched their tongue. This reliance on core senses for communication and survival also extends to their vocalizations. The bark is the quintessential sound we associate with dogs. But one breed stands in quiet defiance of this norm. The Bassini, an ancient breed originating from the dense forests of Central Africa, is known as the barkless dog. It is not mute, rather due to an unusually shaped larynx. It produces a unique melodious sound often described as a yodel or a croal. This breed, which hunted silently for tribes in the Congo, reminds us of the incredible diversity within the canine family. Every dog, however, regardless of breed, begins its life in the same state of profound vulnerability. When a puppy is born, it enters the world as a helpless being. Its experience void of silence and darkness. They are born completely blind, their eyelids sealed shut. They are deaf, their ear canals closed, and they are toothless, utterly dependent on their mother's milk for sustenance. This altictial state where the young are undeveloped at birth requires intensive parental care. For the first 2 weeks of its life, a puppy's world is defined only by touch, warmth, and the scent of its mother and litter mates. Slowly its senses awaken with the eyes and ears opening to a flood of new information. A gradual dawn of awareness. As these creatures develop, some exhibit traits that are truly extraordinary adaptations born from the unique demands of their ancestral environment. Consider the Norwegian Lundehund, a small Spitz-type dog from the remote storm-lashed islands of northern Norway. For centuries, this dog was the primary tool for hunting puffins, which nested in narrow crevices on treacherous seaside cliffs. To navigate this challenging terrain, the Lundehund evolved a set of remarkable physical adaptations. Most notably, it possesses at least 6 fully functional toes on each foot, providing a wider, more secure grip on slippery rocks. Its paws are not just polydactyl. They are uniquely flexible with an extra joint that allows them to bend and grasp in ways no other dog can. This anatomical marvel is a living testament to the power of selective breeding in a harsh and demanding landscape. While the Lundehund's paws are a unique form of identification, every single dog possesses a feature that is entirely its own, a biological signature as individual as a human fingerprint. This identifier is not on its paws, but at the very tip of its nose. The surface of a dog's nose with its intricate pattern of ridges and pores is completely unique to that individual animal. Kennel clubs and registries have for decades accepted nose prints as a form of positive identification, a foolproof way to distinguish one dog from another. This concept of canine individuality took on a global and historic significance in the mid-20th century during the tense political climate of the Cold War. As the Soviet Union and the United States vie for technological and ideological supremacy, the final frontier became the focus of their competition. Space. On November 3, 1957, the Soviet Union launched its second satellite, Sputnik 2. Aboard this small spherical craft was a single passenger destined to make history. Her name was Laika, a small mixed-breed stray plucked from the streets of Moscow. She was chosen for her calm demeanor and her resilience, qualities honed by a life of hardship. Laika became the first living creature to orbit the Earth. A pioneer sent on a one-way mission to test the viability of spaceflight for humans. Her journey was a triumph of engineering, but a tragedy of ethics. The technology for a safe re-entry did not yet exist, and Laika perished in orbit, a sacrifice that paved the way for human space exploration and forever etched her name in the annals of history. Her story is a poignant reminder of the profound roles both willing and unwilling, that dogs have played in the grand narrative of human ambition. From the cosmic heights of Earth's orbit, we return to the intricate details of canine anatomy to a feature that is often overlooked but quietly essential. If you look closely at a dog's eye, you may occasionally catch a glimpse of a whitish-pink membrane sweeping across it from the inner corner. This is the nictitating membrane or the third eyelid. It acts as an internal windscreen wiper moving horizontally across the cornea to clear debris, spread tears for lubrication, and provide an extra layer of protection, all without needing to fully close the outer eyelids. It is a feature many other animals from cats to camels to sharks possess. A useful piece of evolutionary hardware that humans have lost. Another distinctive and somewhat mysterious physical trait is found in the Chow Chow, an ancient breed from northern China. Puppies of this proud lion-like dog are born with the pink tongues common to all canines. However, as they mature, a dramatic transformation occurs. Their tongues gradually darken, eventually taking on a solid blue-black color, a characteristic they share with only a few other animals, such as the giraffe and the polar bear. The reason for this unique pigmentation remains a mystery, though theories abound. From increased blood circulation to an evolutionary quirk, this trait is a hallmark of the breed, a visual link to its enigmatic past. The journey through canine history ultimately leads us to the deserts of the Middle East, to a breed of breathtaking elegance and antiquity, the Suki. Considered by many experts to be the oldest domesticated dog breed, the Suki's lineage can be traced back thousands of years. Their likeness with their slender bodies, deep chests, and feathered ears is found in carvings in ancient Egyptian tombs, including some dating to the era of the pharaohs long before the year 329 BC. They were the royal dogs of Egypt, revered for their incredible speed and stamina, used to hunt gazelles and other swift prey across the vast arid landscapes. Unlike the war dogs of the Middle Ages, the Saluki was a dog of artistry and grace. A living piece of history whose appearance has remained remarkably unchanged for millennia. A direct beautiful link to the very dawn of the human-dog partnership. The ancient enduring bond between humans and dogs exemplified by breeds like the Saluki is not merely a product of history or utility. It is a deeply physiological connection, a biological feedback loop that enriches both species. The simple intuitive act of stroking a dog's fur, of feeling the rhythmic rise and fall of its breath, triggers a powerful chemical reaction in our brains. As our hand moves, our bodies begin to release oxytocin, a hormone intricately linked to social bonding, trust, and affection. It's the same hormone that floods a mother's system when she gazes at her newborn child, cementing the maternal bond. What is truly remarkable is that this is not a one-way street. As the owner pets the dog's brain also releases a surge of oxytocin. This mutual hormonal exchange creates a powerful positive feedback loop, biochemically reinforcing the feelings of love and attachment between person and pet. This science gives a tangible explanation for the comfort and solace we find in their quiet companionship. A relationship so profound that it has found a home in the highest echelons of human society. In the United States, the White House has been home to a long and distinguished line of canine residents. More than half of all American presidents have shared the executive mansion with a dog. Their presence offering a touch of domestic normalcy amidst the immense pressures of the office, from George Washington's hounds to Franklin D. Roosevelt's beloved Scottish Terrier Fala, who became a national celebrity in his own right. These first dogs have often served as unofficial ambassadors, softening the public image of their powerful owners. The tradition underscores a fundamental truth that the need for a dog's loyal, non-judgmental companionship is a universal human trait felt as keenly by a president as by any other citizen. This role of companion and helper has been formalized in many ways, but perhaps none so vital as in the development of guide dogs for the blind. While the concept of animals assisting the visually impaired has existed for centuries, the systematic training of guide dogs began in earnest in Germany in the years following the First World War. The war had left thousands of soldiers blinded, often by poison gas, and they returned home to a world they could no longer see. In response, a German doctor, Gerd Stalling, opened the world's first guide dog school in 1916. He had been inspired by an observation made while walking with a patient and his own dog. When he was briefly called away, he returned to find the dog had stayed and was clearly looking after the blinded man. The school formalized this innate canine loyalty, training German shepherds to be the eyes of these veterans, helping them navigate a society forever changed by conflict. From this compassionate beginning, the guide dog movement spread across the world. A powerful symbol of the trust and partnership possible between humans and animals. A dog's ability to serve as a guide is predicated on its extraordinary sensory abilities, particularly its hearing. A dog's auditory perception is far superior to our own. Not just in its range. They can hear frequencies far higher than the human ear can detect, but in its precision. They can locate the source of a sound with breathtaking speed, pinpointing its origin in as little as 1/600th of a second. This is achieved by using their ears like sophisticated radar dishes. They possess over 18 distinct muscles to control the PA or outer ear, allowing them to tilt, rotate, and pivot each ear independently to triangulate the exact location of a noise. This ability, a vital tool for a predator tracking unseen prey, allows a guide dog to perceive the subtle sounds of traffic, the footsteps of a pedestrian, or the quiet whir of an approaching electric vehicle long before its human companion can. This auditory world is part of a sensory tapestry that a dog begins to weave from the moment of its birth. As we learned, a puppy enters the world blind and deaf, but it is not without senses. From its first breath, its world is defined by touch. The warmth of its mother, the soft pressure of its littermates, the feeling of the tite in its mouth. These are the first and most fundamental sensations it experiences. Touch is the bedrock of its early development. The sense through which it first learns about comfort, security, and its place in the world. It is through touch that the all-important bond with its mother is forged. A connection that will shape its social behavior for the rest of its life. From these individual beginnings, the canine population has expanded to a staggering global scale. It is estimated that there are at least 400 million dogs in the world. A number that is almost certainly a significant underestimate, as it is difficult to account for the vast populations of stray and feral dogs in many parts of the globe. They inhabit every continent, including a small number of working sled dogs in Antarctica, and have adapted to every conceivable human environment, from bustling mega cities to the most remote rural villages. This global proliferation is a testament to their incredible adaptability and the universal appeal of their companionship. Within this massive global population, one country stands out as having the largest number of pet dogs, the United States. Americans' love for their canine companions has resulted in a pet dog population that exceeds 70 million. This cultural affinity for dogs is reflected in all aspects of American life. From dog parks and pet-friendly businesses to a multi-billion-dollar pet care industry. This deep integration of dogs into society makes them not just pets but cherished family members. And within this vast and varied population, one breed has consistently captured the hearts of people not just in America, but across the English-speaking world. For decades, the Labrador Retriever has held the title of the most popular dog breed in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Their gentle temperament, intelligence, and trainability make them ideal family pets and versatile working dogs. Excelling as assistance dogs, search and rescue workers, and detection specialists. Their enduring popularity speaks to a set of qualities that many people see as the ideal canine archetype. Loyal, friendly, and endlessly patient. The popularity of specific breeds contributes to a constant cycle of canine reproduction, a cycle that can have overwhelming consequences when left unchecked. The reproductive potential of dogs is astonishing. A single unspayed female dog, her mate, and all their subsequent offspring can, in the space of just 6 years, produce a staggering 67,000 puppies. This exponential growth is a sobering statistic highlighting the critical importance of spaying and neutering programs in controlling pet overpopulation and reducing the number of animals that end up in shelters. At the opposite end of the population spectrum are the individual record breakers, the dogs that push the boundaries of biological possibility. We met Bluey, the oldest dog, but there are other smaller marvels. The record for the smallest dog ever documented belongs to a tiny Yorkshire Terrier from Blackburn, England. This diminutive creature, a fully grown adult, stood only 2½ in or about 6.3 centimeters tall at the shoulder and weighed a mere 4 ounces or approximately 113 g. This is lighter than a baseball. Her existence is a striking example of the incredible range of size and morphology present within the single species of Canis lupus familiaris. A diversity shaped by centuries of human intervention through selective breeding. While the Great Dane has given us the tallest individual dogs ever recorded, the title for the tallest breed on average is often bestowed upon the majestic Irish wolfhound. These noble sighthounds, bred in ancient Ireland for hunting wolves and Irish elk, possess a commanding stature and a rugged grace. Their sheer height, a product of centuries of selective breeding for a specific and formidable purpose, represents another pinnacle of canine physical diversity. But remarkable physical traits are not limited to height. An equally striking, if less vertical, record is held by a bloodhound from Illinois named Tiger, who earned his place in the record books for having the longest ears ever measured on a dog. Each of his ears was over 34 centimeters long or more than 13 in, a length so profound they would drag on the ground as he walked. These extraordinary appendages were not a mere aesthetic quirk. They are a functional part of the bloodhound's legendary scenting ability. As the dog moves, the long, heavy ears act as a kind of bellows, sweeping the ground and stirring up scent particles, which are then funneled directly toward the dog's highly sensitive nose, creating a personal, concentrated cloud of scent information. Beneath these varied and sometimes extreme exteriors lies a finely tuned biological engine that operates on a different rhythm from our own. The internal world of a dog runs hotter than that of a human. An average healthy dog maintains a core body temperature of around 38.4 degrees Celsius, which is about 101.22 degrees Fahrenheit. This higher metabolic rate is the furnace that powers their energy and vitality. This internal furnace is regulated by a remarkably efficient cardiovascular system. A dog's heart, a powerful and responsive muscle, can beat up to 120 times per minute, depending on the dog's size, age, and level of excitement. To manage the heat generated by this high-octane metabolism, especially during exercise or in warm weather, a dog employs a rapid cooling system that is quite different from our own. By panting, a dog can draw air quickly over the moist surfaces of its tongue and respiratory tract, taking between 300 and 400 breaths per minute. This rapid shallow breathing promotes evaporation, a highly effective method of dissipating excess body heat. This internal system also features a notable evolutionary divergence in its digestive tract. If you were to map the internal organs of a dog, you would find a significant absence compared to a human. Dogs do not have an appendix. This small finger-shaped organ, a remnant of a distant, more herbivorous ancestor in humans, is entirely absent in the canine anatomy. A clear biological marker of their long and specialized history as carnivores, their digestive system streamlined for the efficient processing of meat and bone. From the almost impossibly small, we turn our attention to the giants of the canine world. Breeds whose sheer size and presence are awe-inspiring. While the smallest dog could fit comfortably in a teacup, the tallest breeds can easily place their paws on a human's shoulders. This title of the tallest dog breed belongs unequivocally to the Great Dane. These gentle giants, despite their somewhat misleading name, they are of German, not Danish origin, can reach a height of over 30 in or about 76 centimeters at the shoulder, with some individuals standing significantly taller. The current record holder for the tallest dog ever was a Great Dane from Michigan named Zeus, who stood an incredible 44 in or 111.8 centimeters tall at the shoulder. When he stood on his hind legs, he towered over most adult humans. A truly magnificent, if somewhat intimidating, sight. While the Great Dane claims the title for height, the distinction of being the heaviest dog breed goes to the Street Bernard. Originating from the snowy, treacherous passes of the Swiss Alps, these massive dogs were bred for rescue work by the monks of the Great St. Bernard Hospice. Their immense size and thick insulating coats were essential for surviving the harsh alpine conditions. A fully grown male, St. Bernard can weigh upwards of 200 pounds or 90 kilograms, with some exceptional individuals tipping the scales at over 260 pounds or 118 kilograms. Their bulk was not for fighting, but for endurance, allowing them to traverse deep snowdrifts and even lie on top of avalanche victims to provide life-saving warmth. Between the extremes of the tallest and the smallest lies the fastest. The greyhound, a breed of ancient lineage, is the undisputed sprinter of the dog world. Built like a perfect running machine with a deep chest, a narrow waist, a flexible spine, and powerful hind quarters, the greyhound can reach astonishing speeds. Over a short distance, it can achieve a top speed of up to 45 miles per hour or 72 km/h. This incredible velocity makes them the fastest dogs on the planet and one of the fastest animals on land, second only to the cheetah over short sprints. Their entire anatomy is a study in aerodynamic efficiency, honed over centuries for the single purpose of outrunning the swiftest prey. The influence of dogs on human culture extends beyond the physical. They are woven into our history, our mythology, and even our calendar. The expression dog days of summer refers to the hottest, most sultry period of the year, typically in July and August in the northern hemisphere. This phrase has its roots in ancient astronomy, specifically with the Greeks and Romans. They associated this period of intense heat with the rising of Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky. Sirius is located in the constellation Canis Major, which means greater dog, and is therefore often called the dog star. The ancients believed that the combined heat of the sun and this brilliant dog star was responsible for the sweltering summer weather. A celestial partnership that has been immortalized in our language. This deep respect for dogs is a recurring theme in ancient history, often embodied in the relationships between great leaders and their faithful animals. Alexander the Great, the brilliant military strategist who carved out one of the largest empires of the ancient world, had a beloved canine companion named Paratus. The exact breed of Paratus is lost to history, but accounts describe a large, powerful dog of immense courage. Legend holds that Paratus fought alongside Alexander in his campaigns, saving his life on at least one occasion by attacking an elephant. So great was Alexander's love and admiration for this dog that when Paratus died, the conqueror of the known world mourned him deeply and in a gesture of ultimate honor named a city after him. Paritas in what is now modern-day Punjab. The visual identity of many breeds is one of their most defining features, and few are as instantly recognizable as the Dalmatian. Their sleek white coat adorned with striking black or liver-colored spots is iconic. However, these famous spots are not present at birth. Dalmatian puppies are born pure white, their coats a blank canvas. The spots only begin to appear when the puppies are about 2 weeks old and continue to develop and multiply as they mature. The genetic mechanism behind this unique pattern is complex and is also linked to a higher incidence of congenital deafness in the breed. A reminder of the intricate and sometimes unexpected connections within an animal's genetic code. A dog's perception of the world is a topic of endless fascination. And for a long time, it was widely believed that they saw the world in shades of gray. We now know this is a myth. Dogs do see in color, but their color vision is different from that of humans. Human eyes have 3 types of color detecting cells or cones which allow us to perceive the full spectrum of red, green, and blue. Dogs, on the other hand, have only 2 types of cones. This is known as dichromatic vision. It means their color world is composed primarily of blues, yellows, and grays. They are unable to distinguish between red and green. A situation similar to that of a red-green colorblind human. So, while a bright red ball on a green lawn might stand out vividly to us, to a dog, it appears as shades of yellow and gray, making it harder to spot. This understanding of their vision helps us better appreciate how they navigate their environment. While their color vision may be limited, their intelligence is anything but. Canine intelligence is a complex subject with different breeds excelling in different areas, such as instinctive intelligence for herring or adaptive intelligence for problem solving. However, when it comes to trainability and obedience, certain breeds consistently rank at the top. The Border Collie. Renowned for its incredible work ethic and problem-solving skills, is often cited as the most intelligent breed. Following closely are the Poodle with its surprising cleverness often hidden beneath its fancy haircut, and the Golden Retriever whose eagerness to please and quick learning ability make it a family favorite. At the other end of the spectrum are breeds that are often considered less intelligent, though this label is perhaps unfair. Breeds like the Afghan Hound and the Bassini are not unintelligent, but are famously independent. stubborn, and less motivated by a desire to please their human handlers. They were bred for tasks that required independent thought and action, often at a great distance from humans. Their unintelligence is more accurately a reflection of their independent nature, making them more challenging to train in a traditional obedience context. One breed whose intelligence is often underestimated due to its unique appearance is the poodle. That elaborate, often sculpted haircut, particularly the continental clip scene in dog shows, is not merely a fashion statement. It has practical historical roots. The poodle was originally bred in Germany as a water retriever used by hunters to fetch waterfowl from lakes and rivers. The dense curly coat, while providing excellent insulation, would become heavy and waterlogged, impeding the dog's swimming ability. To solve this, hunters would shave the dog's legs, neck, and hindquarters to reduce drag and increase mobility in the water while leaving protective pom-poms of hair over the joints and vital organs to keep them warm in the cold water. The modern show clip is an exaggerated stylized version of this functional working haircut from centuries ago. The poodle's working history also connects to another fundamental aspect of canine biology, their dentition. An adult dog possesses a formidable set of 42 teeth, 10 more than an adult human. This dental arsenal is a direct inheritance from their carnivorous ancestors. The large canine teeth at the front are for gripping and puncturing. The incisors for scraping meat from bone. And the powerful premolars and molars, particularly the carnassial pair, are designed to shear through flesh and crush bone. This powerful oral toolkit is a reminder that even the most pampered lapdog is at its core a predator equipped by millions of years of evolution for a life of hunting and survival. The formidable dental hardware of a dog speaks to its wild ancestry, but its modern story is often one of extraordinary heroism and sacrifice. This legacy of bravery is perhaps best embodied by a Saint Bernard named Barry, who lived and worked at the Great Saint Bernard Hospice in the Swiss Alps during the early 19th century. Over his 12-year career as a mountain rescue dog, Barry is credited with saving the lives of more than 40 people who were lost or buried in the snow. His most famous rescue was that of a small child who was trapped on an icy ledge, seemingly beyond help. Barry reportedly managed to reach the child, warm him with his body, and lick his face to rouse him, staying with the boy until a rescue party could arrive. Barry's legend grew to such proportions that upon his death, his body was preserved and is still on display at the Natural History Museum in Bern, Switzerland. A permanent monument to the courage and dedication of his entire breed. This iconic image of the heroic dog has been a staple of popular culture for generations. And few canine characters are as globally recognized as Toto from the classic 1939 film The Wizard of Oz. The role of Dorothy's plucky companion was played by a female Cairn Terrier named Terry. Terry had a successful film career, appearing in 16 movies, but her role as Toto, for which she was paid $125 per week, more than many of the human actors in the film, cemented her place in cinematic history. Her intelligence and trainability were so remarkable that she did all of her own stunts, a testament to the incredible capabilities of a well-trained animal actor. Decades later, another canine performer would capture the public's imagination. This time in the world of advertising. In the late 1990s, a female Chihuahua named Gidget became the face of the fast food chain Taco Bell. Her catchphrase, "Yo quiero, Taco Bell," delivered in a dubbed male voice, made her an overnight sensation. Git's expressive face and big personality turned a massive advertising campaign into a pop culture phenomenon, proving that even the smallest of dogs could have a giant impact. The presence of dogs in the public eye is not limited to the silver screen or television commercials. They have also held a special place in the private lives of world leaders. We know that many U.S. presidents were dog owners, but the specific breeds they chose often reflected their public personas. Theodore Roosevelt, the rugged, outdoorsy 26th president, was a true animal lover who filled the White House with a menagerie of pets. Among them was a pit bull terrier named Pete, at a time when the breed was seen as an all-American family dog, a symbol of courage and loyalty. Pete's presence in the Roosevelt household was entirely unremarkable, a far cry from the controversial reputation the breed would later acquire. The names we give our dogs can also reflect cultural trends and our personal affections. For many years, the most popular name for a male dog in English-speaking countries has been Max. This simple, strong, two-syllable name has a timeless appeal, conveying a sense of friendliness and reliability that perfectly suits man's best friend. Its enduring popularity shows a collective preference for classic. Thing for watching and like and subscribe share please.